Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with some new releases from the January 2022 release of Dina Wakley and using stencils in lots of different ways. So I'm starting off in my Dina Wakley book. I think it's the Black Journal, and I'm just gessoing a page really quickly. Very light gesso, it wasn't put on very thickly, just so it will seal the page so I can remove some paint afterwards. I'm going in with some carnation paint or a light pink paint just across the middle of the page as a bit of focal. I'm also writing into it, just emptying my brain, just scraping into the paint so it gets a little bit of texture into it, just for something different. And this is a really good technique if you want to write something down but you don't particularly want anyone to read it, because it's all going to get covered over with stenciling and paintwork and whatever. So it's a good way to sort of hide your journaling. Then went in, I don't know what notion I took, but I decided that I was going to put in these turquoise circles as something a bit different, and I thought I'd put some flowery masks in the middle, but I didn't really like how it went, so I decided that I would do something different. So I'm drying everything off, and this is really important for this technique because you want to have your layers dry first. So I'm going in now with some darker paint. This is marine over the top, and this is a new connecting dots stencil, and I am rubbing away the excess paint, so I'm getting a reverse mask of this stencil. So you can sort of see what's coming, what's underneath the paint coming through, but you get this really strong focal through the middle. So just with the wet wipe, I'm just cleaning up the edges, and then just those top little bits of turquoise, I want to just bring those back into focus again. So I'm going back in with my fingers and putting a little bit more paint on them. Again, I'm drying off my layers. So when you're sort of doing layered work like this, it's really important that you make sure your layers are dry before you go on to the next layer. It means your paint's not going to shift around. Once it's dry, it's permanent. And it just makes sure that everything stays where you want it to stay. So the next one I'm going in with is this sprout stencil. Those of you who follow my channel for a while should be very impressed that I've actually labelled my stencils and their names, because it's not something I would usually do. So I'm going in and using some grey paint to do this, Payne's grey paint, just to stand out a little bit from the background. So I didn't want it really black because that would, I think, be a bit too in your face. I just wanted something subtle, so you've got these sort of shadows happening. And I'm just moving my stencil along and sort of popping it in here and there where it will fit, making sure that the flowers and the leaves all sort of blend together, and it's sort of got a connection point to the bottom of the page. So because it was not blending in real life, it does actually stand out from each other. But that grey and the marine in the background are quite similar to each other. So to combat that, what I'm doing is going in with my paint pen and using really scratchy lines. I am going around and outlining everything. So it is not perfect, and in the close-up at the end you will see that everything is just really loose. I'm just sort of defining the shapes a little bit, particularly those daisy shapes, and just putting a little bit of interest in. So it looks like you've got this hand-drawn effect in the background. The other thing the white does is it sort of brings those stenciled images completely to the foreground. So with the little daisies, I'm also putting in a little bit of dot work, just so you've got the center of the flower, putting in the veins of the leaves as well, and sort of adding it all together. Once I've done that, I sort of really liked how it ended up, but I knew I wanted a little bit more to it. So I wanted to put a quote on this page. I'm also cutting off some of the little straggly bits of the journal that were annoying me. Don't know if anyone else does that. I like the bits hanging out of my journal, but sometimes I need to give them a bit of a haircut. So now I'm going in with one of the other stamp sets. I think this is from the Remarkable stamp set. It's just got this really leafy frondy stamp, which I thought would give a little bit of depth and a little bit more foliage to the bottom of the page. I still like that it's really open, so it's not very dark. It's just sort of that bit in the background. I'm just using some archival ink to stamp that in, and then again just to blend it in so it kind of looks like it's part of the stenciling. I'm going in with my paint pen and doing again a little bit of really scratchy highlighting of those stamped images. So, you know, it's really simple. The reason I do the scratchy lines is if I tried to draw those lines perfectly, I would always make a bump in them and it would really stand out to me. The fact that they're all bumpy and not perfect means it actually looks like that's what I was deliberately aiming for. So it's a bit of self-preservation of my sanity doing that. Next I'm going in with some lavender gloss spray and just putting a little bit of speckle over the top just to bring out some of those pale pink colours in the background. I'm also going in with some of the marine as well. Again, just repeating some of the colours that I've got in the background. Finally going in with some of the orchid spray, which I haven't used a real purple on this page, but just gives that just extra little punch of colour over the top. And speckling is a really great way to sort of bring a bit of unity to the page. It's random, but it ties everything together. It's an odd little technique. It shouldn't really work, but it does. So finally I'm putting on a quote this page, and I got the quote wrong, which really annoyed me, but that's okay. So one day you'll look back and see that all along it was supposed to be "you were blooming," but I put "you are blooming." So I went back in and added the "were" underneath. You are and were blooming. Doesn't quite make as much sense, but that's okay. So with the blooming, everything else I've written just really loosely. I've extended the long and tall strokes on my letters, but with the blooming I did it in cursive, and then just on the downstrokes made some of those downstrokes a little bit wider and darker so it stood out. So this is a close-up of the end. You can sort of see that layering go back, so that reverse masking in the background and then the stenciling over the top with the sketchy lines and then the quotes, and you can see the speckle sitting over the top. It's a really simple page. I actually used a lot of white space, which is unusual for me, but it was really fun to do, and this would be a great page to sort of translate into card making or scrapbooking. It would be really easy to use in lots of different ways. So I hope you have a go at using it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.